Next up, we have as I mentioned before, Bucky and I are both writers for the upcoming Jane-themed zine, the Gutsy Gum zine. That's at Crocker Zine on Twitter, and we today was the preview day, so we both posted a few previews, and I think we're going to start with Bucky's entry. If you want to describe it and introduce it and read it.
Yeah, so I wrote a series of diary entries and I did some formatting sort of inspired by the monumental amount of effort Janaya put into her 48 page piece, or was it
It's
100 pages?
96 pages, with 48 printed pages, double-sided.
Right. Okay, yeah. My piece is shorter. It is 14 pages. But we posted our previews today, and I have this is the second entry, and it's a series of several entries over the span of a week about like Jane's life post game, because I wanted to do a little exploration of that and
Nice.
pepper in some headcanons and have just a minor sprinkling on top of like communist propaganda, just a little bit of like, what if there was all this like all these public services on Earthsea? Yeah,
Yeah,
throw us at the
yeah,
wall.
yeah.
Just practicing that for no reason.
Nice. I love it. um,
Um, and yeah.
yeah,
Also,
cool.
I accidentally I this is just a fun fact. Like, this is some author's notes about this fic. I originally said it in July, and then towards the end, I made a comment about like the seasons changing, and I didn't feel like rewriting that, so I just decided to set it in September instead. But then that meant that I did set one of the days of this fic on September 11th, like accidentally, because I didn't intend that originally. I was just like, and I was like, I don't want to explore the implications of what that means on Earthsea, so I just glossed over it. But like, I thought about it for 2 fucking seconds. I saved you guys from that, so I just want you to know
Nice.
that I didn't explore what that means on Earthsea, because I don't want to. I'm gonna draw a line on that. I don't want to think about that.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's fair.
excuse me. I'll give you all three guesses on who's fronting now.
I have no idea.
It's Rose. You've been talking about me for like an hour. I'm
Nice.
here now.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you
Yeah,
for
nice.
joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Are you guys reading another fic?
We are reading,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's
about to start.
Bucky's going to be narrating their Jane fic.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah.
is Terezi in this one?
It's just Bucky narration. It's all first person.
Yeah, this isn't Janaya's Jane Resi mystery
Yeah,
extravaganza.
that was unrelated to the zine. That was just something I wrote because I saw an image on Tumblr that I thought was cool, and I wrote a fic based on it. Um,
Cool.
Yeah.
yeah,
I will be
Okay.
reading
whenever
it
you're
in a
ready,
second,
Bucky.
though.
Cool.
Cool.
Sunday. This is so. The title of this fic is "Insert Breaking Benjamin Reference" because it's the diary of Jane, and I am
Oh my
emo.
god, yeah.
Nice.
There's no further
Great. Now I have
note.
that song stuck in my head.
You're welcome.
On like all my home stuff playlists.
All right, and you're reading this in the order that it's on your Twitter, correct?
Yeah, the
Okay.
pages should be numbered too. If I fuck that up somehow, but I think they
Oh,
posted
they
in the
are. They
correct
are
order.
numbered. Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to know what so I can move it so people can read along.
Yeah. Oh, there also is a Jane fic titled "Diary of Jane" that's already on AO3, so I didn't want to get that confused. So I
Yeah,
just decided to be cheeky about it.
That's legit.
Um.
All right.
Okay. Sunday, September 8th. Dear Diary, Saturday ended well enough. After the pancake breakfast, I puttered around myself in the afternoon, did my usual weekend chores, and we all had a movie night. Roxy has been excited to show us their favorite movies from the late 2010s and early 2020s that I would have never seen, and Callie never got around to watching. I'll admit I enjoyed the series of superhero movies they showed us, even though there were so many, and all of us loved this odd little movie about a mute woman and a fish monster that Roxy surprised us with last night. This morning was alright too. Sundays are the day I always take time to work in my garden, so I put on my nice old thick jeans, my favorite sweatshirt, and the big sun hat Callie wears into town. The raised beds Jake and Jade helped us put into the backyard are brilliant for not throwing out my back. Amazing I have to worry about that at 20, and at the beginning of my supposed immortality, so my jeans don't get as dirty as they used to at home. Well, this is still my home, but you know what I mean. My old home. Anyways, as you're going to become aware, Sundays are pancakes, gardening, and reading for me. The afternoon is always for a good book, with so many to catch up on without accounting for millennia that pass in seconds. I have my schedule, and I like it, because I get everything done that I want to do. Roxy even watched me put up my calendar on a bulletin board with all the scrapbook paper I could get my mitts on in such short notice. My therapist and I talked about that a bit, the routines and the organizing. It wasn't something I really did before, but I've been leaning on more and more. She had mentioned it seemed like it was growing in importance for me, but I didn't realize how important until today when Roxy asked me if I wanted to go with them and Rose to a book premiere party. Not for Rose, just for a friend whose novel had released that day. It was paralyzing. I just sort of stood there in my hat and my big cloth gardening gloves and couldn't say anything, thinking about how much I wanted to get to that book next to my armchair and how disappointed in myself that I couldn't do what my partner wanted. There should be like a was in there somewhere. Eventually I just said, but Sunday night is when I read. I think Roxy was rather upset by that. They sort of lost a bit of their pep. I think they really wanted to go with me to this event. How was I supposed to tell them that I just could not switch up what I had planned that quickly? Especially when it isn't their fault that this party was scheduled at a time I always reserve for myself. After they left, it took me a few solid minutes to pry my feet from where they were rooted to the floor. I texted Dirk. He doesn't go out much either. It's probably for different reasons than I have, but it achieves the same result. I told him basically what I told you. You'll have to forgive me if I refined my text to him into the paragraphs above. I didn't get a response for a few minutes. When he did get back to me, he just asked what my email address was. He knows what it is, but I think he said it to offer me the opportunity to ask why he needed it. A little while later, he sent me a link to a shared calendar, another link for an app to download to my phone. Then he opened up a group chat and asked Roxy to sync up their calendar and left the group chat. Gosh, I appreciate this man so much, but he could have led with, why don't you two find a way to compare your schedules before the date of an event? Like he said after he remotely downloaded the app to my phone for me when I took too long, instead of just doing it for me.
I love
Roxy,
him.
Roxy and I are working on him, I swear. He did seem to have a point, though. I know Roxy has figured out they need to write down event times for themselves. The problem for them is that I don't see the work they're putting in, and that makes it easy to forget it's happening. We texted a bit in the chat room Dirk made for us, and that did help. I tried to apologize for not being able to go with them that night, but I was surprised to find that they apologized to me before I could finish. Apparently, they had felt horrible that they hadn't given me enough time to prepare, and had also been frantically texting Dirk. At that point, I asked them if they could call me, and they told me sure, they were still driving anyways. When I picked up, we were both sort of sniffly. I told them it seemed to me like we were stuck apologizing to each other for something neither of us really did wrong, and they laughed. They said something to the tune of us working so well together because we were different, but having big problems sometimes for the same reason. I told them I loved them, and they laughed and said the same back, and told me they had to go because they were rolling up to the party, babe. The room was quiet after they hung up. What we got to at the end sounded a bit like something my therapist had said to me. Every one of us is going to process what the game did to us differently, have different reactions, seek different ways of healing, because all of us had different experiences and are separate people. Somehow I had forgotten that applied to Roxy, too. They had a lot of similar experiences to me inside the game, but once I finally started believing what they told me about how they grew up, and I cannot begin to tell you how embarrassed I am about that, it's incredible that it took me until today to finally put those pieces together that they really weren't recovering the same as me. I like making things grow. Oop. Okay. Enjoy. I like making things grow slowly, without any candy-powered enhancements. What has been helping me has been making sure I take the time to experience something wholly, stand in a moment and register every sense to remind myself that I am here. I am the only voice in my own brain. I am in control of my own body. Here, in the home we made, I don't feel I need much else. I am still trying to focus very intently on very small things. Roxy takes a road trip almost every week, trying as many new things as they can. Our pantry and fridge are full of organic and locally grown ingredients they bring back for me to cook with. The bookshelves and side tables are covered in tchotchkes and ancient antique novels they thought Callie would find interesting to look at and draw and read. They've already spent too much time trapped in one place to miss much of what's going on in our new world. I can't say I blame them at all, even if I can't really bear to go with them a lot of the time. Calliope also takes pleasure in small things, running their claws lightly over the cover of every new novel, looking at the binding in the sunlight, flicking their thin forked tongue to taste the pages. Sometimes they join me in the garden, finding small lizards and large insects in among the plants and relocating them for me. They speak to each one as they walk it from the beds to the fence at the edge of the yard. I've been learning how to make my own compost, using the scraps of vegetables and fruits left over from meals I make with the spoils of Roxy's outings. Next year, whatever spare energy we couldn't take advantage will help us grow vegetables, and maybe we can send some of what we grew back to those people. I'm rambling, I suppose. Not that you can care, but I should maybe try to be more concise. This is for therapy, after all. Roxy and I are different. It's obvious, but I really cannot keep expecting them to behave like me. And it seems like they're also arriving to the same conclusion. I know it's going to be a lot of work, but I think we'll be okay.
Oh,
Hopefully yours, Jane Crocker.
that is really sweet. I love that.
I
I love
really
the
like that.
I love the imagery of Callie just like carrying little like lizards and stuff around. Oh my god.
I was like, oh well, she was friends. I guess in this fic, both Roxy and Callie were using they/them pronouns.
Right.
They were friends with Serenity, and they like were
Right.
Serenity for a little bit. So I think they would like little bugs and
Yeah,
insects.
I agree. Oh, I love that. I'm really looking forward to this coming out. I know I can technically read it, but whatever.
It's
Okay.
real fucking domestic,
Yeah,
is what I was going for.
I like it a lot, and the formatting really sells that.
Yeah, it's a little.
Oh,
I like that. There's a very faint paper texture to the
yeah,
background.
I just, it's good. It's good. You did good.
It was
Oh.
fun to make.